Good evening, friends. Hope you all enjoyed that little intermission, but now it's time for Game 2.
Game 2 of the night.
Yes, indeed. I am Rich Mahogany.
And I'm Assassinate.
And we are going to be bringing you the game between the Vaudeville Vixens and the Quad Squad. Let me ask you all something here right now. Who out there is cheering for the Vaudeville Vixens tonight? All right.
And who out there is cheering for the Quad Squad?
Ooh. I don't know about you, Nate, but my ears tell me that the fan representation for these two teams is evenly matched
It's
tonight.
evenly matched, as will this game.
All right, I
assume.
can't wait to get into it. We are going to be getting into it shortly here. We just need to make sure all of our teams are ready. Let's see, so before we check to see if our teams are ready, audience, are you ready? Ooh, skaters, the audience is ready. Vaudeville Vixens, are you ready? All right, it sounds like the Vixens are ready.
All right, and introducing the Vaudeville Vixens. Let's have them roll out. And number 303, One Hit Wonder. Number 1337, Melee. Number 22, Happy Go Lucky. Number 23, Saucy McBossy. Number 238, Radio Smackdiv. Number 27, Sasquatch. Number 314, Smack and Cheese. Number 4860, Raven Lunatic. Number 502, Louisville Slugher. Number 614, Karma Suture. Number 66, Mustang. Number 672, La Marche Madness. Number 7184, Wolframmer. Number 808, Hawaii KO. Number 847, Hello, Sailor. Vaudeville Vixens are supported on the bench by Scary Fisher, Stunner, Snowplow, and Hoo-Ha.
All right, friends, that'll be our Vaudeville Vixens. And now, as the Vixens finish off their initial introductory lap, we're going to turn things over to their opponents for tonight. We are introducing to you the Quad Squad. Starting off with Zero Eye, it's Scooter Riddance. Number 101, Quilla DeVille. Number 111, Lex. Number 1104, the Derber Baby. Number 102, Battle Frog. Number 141, Hammer Abby. Number 207, Slam Chowder. Number 215, Booty Collins. Number 234, Bada Boom Box. Number 270, Cyanide. Number 273, Crystal Ice. From the year 3000, it is Future Trauma. Number 5388, Dark Horse. Number 731, MK Ultra. Number 769, Conan the Librarian. And number 80, Thrill Show. The Quad Squad is supported from the bench by Cassie Roll, Alligator, and Elf. Friends, give it up for the Quad Squad.
And our officials for tonight's bout, we have Dark Matter, Dr. Brew, Johnny Zebra, Eddie Lizard, Disgrace Kelly, Show Nuff, Hell Woods, Jixher, Uno Mas, Bronzy Locks, Red, Misinformed, Death Nelly, John Lane, The Juggernaut, and Dungeon Smasher.
All right, we just need our teams to have a moment of strategizing before lining up for this first jam.
They're huddled up saying, let's score a bunch of points. I bet that's what they're saying.
That's a bold strategy.
Yeah, I bet that's what they're saying.
Like, I would not have foreseen that just to get together and say,
I've been around the block
points.
a little bit, so I know.
Few trips around the track, few laps.
Few lappy-doos around the trickety track.
All right, well, looks like our first packs are taking to the track. Friends, are you ready to see this game get underway? Oh, me too. Me too.
Looks like we have lining up on the jammer line, we have Dark Horse skating in green for the Quad Squad. And it looks like that is Smack and Cheese lining up for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink. And they're off, both jammers engaged in a pack.
Smack and Cheese pushing in the front. Hammer Abby, though, will get in her way. Pack moving quickly through turn 1 into turn 2, and it's gonna be Dark Horse takes the first lead of this contest.
That is right, and hot on her wheels, Smack and Cheese. We have a hit it and quit it, Rich.
That's right. Hit it and quit it. That's a weird term. What does that mean?
It means as soon as the jammer engages the pack, the lead jammer, they call it off so that the opposing jammer cannot score any points.
Ah, so hitting the pack, quitting the jam.
That's right.
Looks like with that hit it and quit it, no points were actually put up. So called off so quickly that all points were denied. Gonna get into Jam 2 now with Quilla DeVille on the line for the Quad Squad in green against Hawaii KO for the Vixens in pink.
And that's Hawaii KO taking lead jammer status for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Nice run up the outside line there by Hawaii KO. Coming in hot, gonna take that outside line again. Just a single blocker to beat, will be forced to call off the jam. But not before picking up all 4 points available on that pass. Vaudeville Vixens on the board for Quad Squad, 0. As we line up here for jam number 3. We have exciting skaters, as evidenced by the cheers of our crowd. Thrill Show out there for the Quad Squad against Radio Smacktive for the Vaudeville Vixens.
And that is Thrill Show taking lead jammer status.
Thrill Show, of course, a foster from the Unholy Rollers, just finished playing in the first game. So nice and warm.
Radio Smacktive cycled way back by Hammer Abbey.
Thrill Show at the front with 1 to beat, does get by. That is 4 points for Thrill Show. High block penalty assessed to a Vixens blocker.
And we have a Vixen Star Pass. That is to Wolframmer.
That's right, the jammer can remove the star helmet cover from their helmet and pass it over to the pivot. That's the skater with the stripe on their helmet. The star can only be passed once per jam per team. So Wolframmer will now bear the weight of that star for the rest of this jam. Future Trauma tries to knock Wolframmer out on the outside, but nice toe work keeps Wolfie in. Through for 4 points. Closing the distance between Thrill Show will force the call off. Big jam for the Quad Squad, Nate. 16 points for them. Takes them into the lead.
That's a lead change, Rich.
If only we had some sort of noisemaker for that.
If only I had remembered to bring a whimsical noisemaker from home.
Well, good thing you are a whimsical noisemaker, Nate.
Thank you, Rich.
So with that jam, the Quad Squad ahead by 8 points. Dark Horse on the line to see if she can keep the lead going up against March Madness, who is out to take lead jam for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Both jammers out of the pack, ready to score.
Well, March Madness coming in fast, trying to out-juke the Quad Squad blockers. Quad Squad, though, did a great job of getting wide, taking up all that space, forcing the call off. Vixens do pick up 2 points, holding the Quad Squad to 0.
Who do we have out there? Right now we have Smackaroni and Cheese skating for the Vaudeville Vixens, and it is Quilla DeVille skating for the Quad Squad.
Quilla DeVille out there to steal the puppies of my heart as well as the points from the other team. A tenacious defense to start this jam off, Nate. We've got nobody moving. In fact, now we're going to go backwards behind the jammer line.
And that is Quilla DeVille. Takes lead jammer status, getting a signal from her coach to keep going. Wow, fast paced. I missed a bunch of stuff there.
I just, like, amazingly fast skating there by Smack and Cheese. 2 points end up put up by the Quad Squad, so it is going to be a 2-2 jam. The score differential does not change. 6 points separate these teams as we line up for jam number 6.
Looking out there, it looks like we have Hawaii KO lining up for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink, and that is Thrill Show skating for the Quad Squad in green.
Thrill Show going to start off this jam by a little bit of offensive blocking against Hawaii KO, but KO's going to just shrug it off, quickly make her way up to the front of the pack. She's got 2 blockers to beat. That's Battle Frog and Future Trauma. A little bit of a pile up on the turn 1-2 apex. Crystal and Ice now slotted in, and Battle Frog, the last blocker to beat. Hawaii KO, though, going to get through. Takes lead jam for the Vixens.
Thrill Show takes her helmet cover off, pops it back on.
That's right. The Thrill Show with that sneaky star stash, he is able to get free of the pack. Approaching to score points will force the call off. Hawaii KO picks up 2 points on that pass, though. Closing the score gap ever so slightly more. Only 4 points separate these teams. I'd like to have a quick shout out to Delta Beer Lab. Delta Beer Lab, the host of our after party today. Delta Beer Lab, crafting beer, crafting change.
On the jammer line, we have Radio Smacktive and Dark Horse.
Both jammers taking opposite paths, one taking the inside line, one on the out. Dark Horse up at the front, only a single blocker to beat. That is one-hit Wanda. Fostering from the Unholy Rollers. Oh, a forearm penalty assessed to Wanda, and Dark Horse is through, taking lead jam for the Quad Squad.
And Radio Smacktive finally threw her initial pass. 4 points scored for Dark Horse, calls off the jam.
Not going to waste any time, any energy that is unnecessary. 4 points up for the Quad Squad.
Terciops Truncated Studios is a local Derby-owned independent game design team bringing you fun games and fun gifts for the gamers in your life. Play their new Wreck 'em Up space opera, The Day We Fought Space, now available on a mobile device near you. Terciops Truncated Studios.
That's right. Have you ever looked up in the sky, marveled at space, and be like, I wish I could fight that.
I want to fight that so bad.
Now you can. Getting back down to the action on the track. La March Madness out to take lead jam for the Vaudeville Vixens. Hot on her heels is Vaudeville for the Quad Squad. Pack really just moving at breakneck speed with Ice and Battle Frog up at the front, skating backwards.
This is awesome.
Everybody picking up the speed. No blocker wants to be a point. La March Madness. They're like, okay, these are shenanigans. We're going to call that jam off. No points picked up, but a fun little.
That was fun.
Let's get our heart rates up.
Yep.
And now we're going to slow it down. Or are we? I'm going to bet with a pivot line start, this is not going to be a slow one. Or maybe the pivot line is just going to hold. We'll see as Thrill Show and Smack and Cheese collide with the wall. Thrill Show finds some daylight on the inside. Lead jam goes to the Quad Squad.
Smack and Cheese out of the pack, eligible to score points. Thrill Show calls off the jam, scoring 3 roller derby points. 1 point for the Vaudeville Vixens.
That was a nice stop by Melee and Wolframmer, stymieing Thrill Show's forward progress, forcing the call off. Penalty box remains empty. We've actually had a very clean game so far, Nate.
Yes,
now
Rich.
that I've said that, I'm going to ruin everything.
You're going to jinx
sorry,
it.
skaters. We've only seen 4 penalties so far, and they've all been for different skaters.
Dark Horse is out there skating in green. Dark Horse takes lead jammer status. That is Hawaii KO. Skating in pink.
Jam a little spread out in turn 1, but will come back together just as Dark Horse gets through and calls off the jam.
And that jam, that was the first back-to-back lead jam of the game for the Quad Squad. Up until that jam, the teams have been trading leads.
Oh, it has been such a back-and-forth game. The score is certainly reflecting that. Only, math, why are you so hard? That's 14 points. I can do that. All right.
Math.
14 points separate these teams as we roll on into jam number 11. Penalty box remains empty. Vaudeville, jammer of record for the Quad Squad, out against Radio Smackdown for the Vaudeville Vixens. Dio pushing hard is going to really force those Quad Squad blockers forward. Hammer Abby dances to the top of the pack to function as the last line of defense. Looks like we do have Vaudeville got out just barely enough to take lead jam, but then is knocked out and is forced to recycle to the back of the pack.
And that is Radio Smackdown headed to in the penalty box, so this is a power jam.
Nice side surfing there by Gouda Riddance to get the star out of the pack.
This is a star pass to Gouda Riddance, making this jam will take the full 2 minutes, Rich.
Oh, that it will, Nate. Gouda wastes no time getting through the pack. The defense melts away before her. Dio back on the track. Quad Squad going to lose Hammer Abby to the penalty box. With that, Dio has completed her initial pass. Vaudeville Vixens are now eligible to score. And remind you that we have no lead jammer. This chaos will continue for another 30 seconds.
That is Sly Knight and Lexi Turnitas holding back Radio Smackdown way up front there.
Penalty assessed to Quad Squad blocker Quilla DeVille. Right as Hammer Abby returns to the track.
It's hammer time. 4 points for Radio Smackdown.
Oh, nice job by Dio finding a hole in the defense right as the jam ends. Does manage to pick up all 4 points on that pass. Big jam for the Vixens here, friends. 12 points total. Quad Squad picks up 7. Only 9 points separate these teams. I'd like to have a quick shout out to sponsor for Madison Roller Derby, UW Health. UW Health is proud to be a part of Madison Roller Derby's home season. UW Health provides remarkable health care and is committed to serve through medical innovation and unparalleled compassion.
And that last jam was the first double-digit scoring jam for the Vixens with 12 points. Out there we have La March Madness and Thrill Show.
Oh, Thrill Show taking a moment to assess the strategy to approach the pack as La March Madness flies ahead, colliding with the pack. That will force the call off from Thrill Show. Another 0-0 jam. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 points were picked up there by the Vixens. So Vixens continuing to chip away at that lead of the Quad Squad. This jam may be the one where tides turn, friends. We'll see what happens. We've got Dark Horse out on the line for the Quad Squad, going up against Smack and Cheese for the Vixens.
And that is Smack and Cheese takes lead jammer status. Dark Horse through the pack as well. Both eligible to score points.
Vixens blockers doing a good job of getting in between the Quad Squad blockers, making it very difficult for them to form an effective defensive shape. We'll force the call off there. 4 more points up for the Vixens, 1 for the Quad Squad. Oh boy, we are 1 pass worth of points between these teams, Nate.
Yeah. Yes, this is a close one. I'm really enjoying this game so far, Rich.
Oh, you and me both, friend. Who out there is enjoying this game? All right, well, it is a well-known scientific fact that roller derby skaters skate faster the louder you cheer.
That's true. I heard that.
Let's put that fact to the test tonight, friends. Gonna cheer on Hawaii KO out there jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink. Quilla DeVille wears the star for the Quad Squad in green.
And that is Quilla DeVille takes lead jammer status.
Hawaii KO has removed the star, is doing a little bit of a sassy star stashy action. Will it be passed? That's not for us to know.
It's a secret.
It's a secret that I'm not sure KO even knows the answer to in this moment. Quill being forced back at the back of the pack, being held back by...
There is a star pass to, what is that, Raven Lunatic.
Oh, yep. Raven Lunatic dons the star for the Vaudeville Vixens, though forced to recycle back herself, so the star remains trapped.
4 points for Quilla DeVille.
That'll be the first point scored in this jam, a little over a minute into it. A hard-fought 4 points for the Quad Squad.
Quad Squad calling off the jam, holding the Vixens scoreless for that jam.
Definitely a good situation for the Quad Squad there, trying to stymie that forward progress of the Vixens, being able to re-extend their lead. 12 points separate these teams, with about 12 minutes remaining to play in the first half. Penalty box remains just, it's empty. It looks lonely, Nate.
It looks lonely.
Do you think they would assign us a penalty maybe if we were like sassy enough?
I
That,
think
like,
we gotta try. We gotta try.
yeah. Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Getting back to the action on the track, Quad Squad has Thrill Show wearing the star, gets through to take lead jam. Radio Smacktive still working on the initial pass, but now only has 2 blockers to beat. Dancing on the inside line. Nice track awareness there by Dio. Was very aware of who knocked them out, who they needed to come in behind. The Quad Squad tried to run her back, but that track awareness.
Mm-hmm. Both jammers tied up in their jammer in the opposing blockers, but that is Radio Smacktive picking up another 4 points.
Oh, Thrill Show takes a bit of a tumble with that. Will call off the jam. Does get 3 points on that pass, so the Quad Squad do come out ahead in that jam. Score now stands Quad Squad 52, Vaudeville Vixens 37. As we give a little bit of a shout out to Meet Meebleton's World of Fun. Meet Meebleton's World of Fun can't wait to introduce you to the greatest store you never knew you always wanted. Head over to Willie Street to check out their offering of quality vintage and modern toys and pop culture collectibles, or customize your own toy in their workshop. Meet Meebleton's World of Fun.
Back to the action on the track. That is the March Madness. Takes lead jammer status for the Vaudeville Vixens. Dark Horse skating in green for the Quad Squad.
Oh, the March Madness knocked to the outside. Does manage to stay upright, but does a little bit of a turn. Jam will be forced to be called. 3 points picked up by the Vixens. Tell you, Nate, this remains a very close, very fast-paced game. Only 12 points between these two teams. Again, we are very low on the penalties. No skater has gotten more than 1. Everybody learning their lesson. Skating clean.
And back on the track, we have Smack and Cheese skating for the Vixens, and that is Quilla DeVille skating for Quad Squad. Smack and Cheese takes lead jammer status.
Oh.
All right, we got another fast one, Rich.
That's right. This is a good time for the Quad Squad to be able to burn some time, get their jammer out, prevent any extra point, or not their jammer, I'm sorry, they had another blocker in the box. Oh! Smack and Cheese comes in hot. A destruction call on Gouda Riddance there, right at the end of the jam. So Quad Squad will end this jam with a single blocker in the box. Looks like the Vixens also get a blocker in the box. Vixens coming out on top of that jam, picking up 4 points, holding the Quad Squad down to 0. So both teams missing a single blocker to the box. So we line up, we are going to see a jammer matchup that we've seen before, Nate.
We have seen this show before.
Yes. I like to go to the Dio show.
Yep.
So we've got Thrill Show through to take lead jam for the Quad Squad, but Radio Smacktive hot on her heels. Wolframmer trying to do some initial waylaying of Thrill Show. The Thrill Show with a nice, just sharp inward shift of the trajectory will just slip through the pack.
Gotta love that footwork.
Oh, Hoppy Go Lucky gets right in Thrill Show's way to stop her dead in her tracks. And as Dio gets through, that will force the call off.
This game continues to be super close. What is this, 12 points still?
That's going to be 8 points separating these teams. Close. just math it the other way.
I said that into a microphone.
Matt, yeah. You silly announcer friend, you. So we're going to line up, getting ready to go, and we've got Dark Horse on the line for the Quad Squad. La March Madness out there for the Vaudeville Vixens.
And Dark Horse takes the lead.
March Madness still working on the initial pass as Dark Horse breaks through to take 4 more points. But oh, that's...
And we have a star pass to Mustang.
I was gonna say, that's not La March Madness. That's not La March Madness at all. That's Mustang Madness. Dark Horse out to run around and around the track. Nice little hop, skip, and a jump on the outside will net her 4 more roller derby points. This is looking to be one of the biggest jams we've had all game, Nate.
4 more points.
Very nice job there by Dark Horse with that backward skating, using some of the power and momentum of those trying to block her to her advantage. Oh. Will once again fight her way through the pack. 20 points so far on her tally. Do I hear 24?
Hey, we have 20 points, we have 20 points, we have 20 points, we have 24 points. Big, huge, gigantic jam. That's a 22-point jam for the quad squad. Vaudeville Vixens picked up an honest 4 points.
It's an honest day's work. It's an honest day's 4 points. It's not many points, but they're honest points. So yeah, quad squad with a runaway jam there. With that will force a team timeout to be called by the Vaudeville Vixens. Definitely a good choice here. Try to stop that forward momentum of the quad squad. Quad squad really activating out there. You get it because it's the thing they say.
It's the thing they say. Hey, give it up for roller derby, everybody. Yeah, you're right. The Vaudeville Vixens are probably wanting to stop the forward momentum of the quad squad, calling a timeout, maybe pressing the reset button.
Yeah, little. With that there, so each of these team timeouts, for those who aren't so familiar with the rules of roller derby, each team does get 3 timeouts to utilize throughout the entire game. That's both halves. And so once you use one, you lose it. So you can see on the scoreboard there, the Vixens have one of their dots blinking. That means we're in the midst of that team timeout, but it's going to go away. Because now we are getting back into the action. Quilleneville out jamming for the quad squad in green, up against Smack and Cheese for the Vaudeville Vixens.
And that is Smack and Cheese. Takes lead jammer status for the Vixens.
Quilleneville, though, is hungry for points, almost as hungry for points as she is for, well,
Dogs.
Smack and Cheese. So a quick hit it and quit it jam for the Vaudeville Vixens will get them 4 points.
What is this? What is this? Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. We have Thrill Show and Radio Smacktive facing off once again.
Nice job there. Radio Smacktive finds some daylight on the inside, fights her way through. Does take lead jam. I gotta say, watching her on the start of that line, you can tell she's definitely been going head to head with Thrill Show a few times, was ready to take that initial offensive hit that Thrill Show offered up, and she bounced right off.
And that is the first back-to-back lead jam for the Vixens. First 2 in a row.
Looks like we do have an official review called for by the quad squad. Give our teams an opportunity to go inside, plead their case to their officials, and we will bring you the updates as soon as they are brought to us. In the meantime, I'd like to shout out to another one of Madison Roller Derby's amazing sponsors, Amy Bout. Looking for the perfect place to air out your gear? Call Amy. She's the realtor who will make your experience as smooth as a power jam with 2 in the box, beginning to end like an MVJ. That's Amy Bout. All right, so it looks like our quad squad have pled their case. It is now just off for the officials to decide what their decree is.
Bonzo. Let's talk about Bonzo. Bonzo is Madison's best falafel and hummus. Visit their Sherman Avenue location offering dine-in, takeout, or delivery, or check them out online at bonzomadison.com. Bonzo, B-A-N-Z-O, madison.com.
Taking a look at some of our penalties here, Nate. We are continuing a very low penalty situation here in this game. At this point, we only now have 2 skaters who have gotten more than 1 penalty. So nobody, as we enter the waning minutes of this first half, are in any real penalty danger. So step it up, skaters. Make the officials work for it. Like let's give those penalty box timers something to do.
Right, they're bored over there.
I see you looking at me like that.
Requesting a cut call on the pink jammer. Several eyes on the action. Jammer was on the tee, but not across the line.
They're looking for a track cut violation on the pink skater. Didn't get it.
Well, that's a wise thing to look for here in the last few minutes of the first half, because the official review comes back to you at the second half. So with only 4 minutes remaining, the Vaudeville Vixens can look for a penalty on the quad squad rather, can look for a penalty on the opposing jammer. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, well, you've got a free timeout. So La March Madness out there taking lead jam for the Vixens. Dark Horse just getting the star out of the pack is now eligible to score points. But La March Madness going to pick up 4 and call the jam. A quick 4-0 jam in favor of the Vaudeville Vixens makes this a 14-point game with the quad squad in the lead.
Lining up, we have Smack and Cheese in pink, and we have Quilla DeVille in green.
Penalty box once again stands empty. Quill taking a slow roll on the inside line. Smack and Cheese getting a little bit more frenetic here, cutting from the in to the out. Up at the front, it's Smack and Cheese. However, through the pack first, but due to a no pass, no penalty, not lead jammer.
And you know what? Quill is out, but because her helmet cover was off, she's not lead jammer either.
That's right, Nate. In fact, because of that, we will now not have a lead jammer. Or perhaps we will. High block penalty assessed to number 141 for the quad squad. That's Hammer Abbey. And yes, so there will be, in fact, not be a lead jammer for this. Once you remove that helmet cover, you are ineligible to pick up lead. We've got a full 2-minute jam on our hands here. Smack and Cheese looking to catch up there for the Vaudeville Vixens. 12 points so far on this jam. Quad squad through for 8. Penalty box empties out. Hammer Abbey looking to rejoin the action. Quilla DeVille up at the front. All 4 Vixens blockers. Well, of course, as I say that, KO has to break off the bridge. But now Quill through only 1 blocker to beat. That's Melee. Trying to get some help from Battle Frog. But enough time is bought. Raven Lunatic up at the front. Quill will get through. A hard-fought 4 points for the quad squad.
Wow. That was a full 2-minute jam. Both teams scoring lots of points. 16 for the Vixens, 8 for the quad squad.
So many points. So many.
So many roller derby points.
So only 6 points now separating our teams as we go line up for what will likely be the final jam of this half. Of course, fortunately for all of us here, we have a whole nother 30 minutes of roller derby after this one.
Stay tuned after the half for the conclusion.
The stunning conclusion of the Quad Squad versus the Vaudeville Vixens.
And it is Thrill Show taking lead jammer status.
Karma Suture through for the Vaudeville Vixens. They are now eligible to score points. Both of these jammers having skated in the first game this evening. Quick call off there by Thrill Show, securing her 4 points and locking the Vixens out. And with that, friends, we are at the halftime. 10 points separate these two teams. Vaudeville Vixens narrowly behind the Quad Squad.
A game that could go either way, Rich, and this is, people should definitely stick around for the second half.
Oh, absolutely. This game is going to go every way. But now, you've got about 9 minutes to yourselves, friends. Please get up, stretch your legs, grab yourself some concessions, hydrate, use the restroom, check out our awesome merchandise tables. If you've had any questions about any of the stuff that's happening on the track, stop by the rules table. But whatever you do, get back here in about 8 minutes for the second half of this game. Oh boy, friends.
Oh boy!
Oh boy. Guess what time it is, Nate?
It's time for roller derby.
Oh yeah. That's right, friends. We are ready to get into the exciting conclusion of our matchup tonight between the Vaudeville Vixens and the Quad Squad.
I want to talk to you about some things.
I want you to talk to me about some things.
In the first half, both of these jammers scored the highest scoring jams for their team in the first half. You have Smack and Cheese out there, who in jam 23 scored 16 points. And then you have Dark Horse out there, who in jam 19 scored 22 points. So we have a couple of VIPs lined up.
Oh boy. Very important jammers. Very intense points.
Very.
Verily, indeed, points. That's what VIP is now.
Verily, I say unto thee that it shall be. For henceforth, Smack and Cheese taking lead jammer status in jam 1 of the second half.
That's right. We've got Dark Horse still working. Got one blocker to beat. That's one hit Wanda. Oh! That was a low block assessed to one hit Wanda. Smack and Cheese through to pick up 4 points. Will call off the jam. So a quick hit it and quit it jam gets the Vaudeville Vixens ever so closer to the lead. 6 points separate these teams.
That's right, Rich. In the first half, the Quad Squad took lead jam status 13 times. Vaudeville Vixens took lead jammer status 9 times. So that would explain some of why this is such a close game.
Yeah, it's been close in leads, close in points, close in penalties. These teams are evenly matched. And what else would you expect from Team Watermelon? Pink and green go together so well.
And that is Vaudeville takes lead jammer status.
Karma Suture out there jamming for the Vixens is gonna try to close that gap up. Quill will get forced to the outside by Wolframmer, forced to call off the jam. Will manage to hold the Vixens down to 0. Waiting for confirmation on the Quad Squad score. Looks like that's gonna be 1 point up for the Quad Squad.
2.
2.
2 points. Look who's on the jammer line. There's Radio Smacktive and Thrill Show.
Oh, we haven't seen that before tonight.
No.
Dio running quick to the inside line, but the Quad Squad is waiting in force. Thrill Show gonna find a way through, takes lead jam. Quad Squad trying to mess up the Vixens' defensive formation at the front of the pack. Vixens are still able to force Thrill Show to the inside to force the call off. 1 point picked up for the Vixens, 3 for the Quad Squad. So we're back to the split we had at the start of the half, Nate.
That's right. 10-point game. Let's talk about WORT. Check out WORT 89.9 FM, your local community radio station, online, on our app, or in person. Be a part of your community radio and volunteer today. WORT.
Back to the action on the track. La March Madness out there jamming for the Vixens in the pink. Dark Horse for the Quad Squad in green, and it's going to be Dark Horse off to the races. Takes lead jam for the Quad Squad.
Lamar's getting low and it's fast. And that ends up being a 3-0 in favor of the Quad Squad.
Seeing a lot of low-scoring jams in this game, Nate. The defenses for these teams they have been at work all night long. And
Indeed, Rich, Quad Squad in the first half has had 9 scoreless jams, and Vaudeville Vixens had 7 scoreless jams.
and that's a lot of jams to have no score and to have it be so close between these teams.
Right.
We've got Quill out there taking lead jam. Ooh, a track cut penalty assessed to Smack and Cheese. So that means we've got a power jam. Of course, while the Quad Squad has nothing to do but score points, the Vixens have nothing to do but make it so Quill can't score points.
But score points, Quill does 4 points.
Oh, Quill gonna call off the jam, picks up 4 points. But you know what else that means, Nate?
What does it mean, Rich?
It means that the Vixens jammer is iced in the penalty box. That's right. If you are in the penalty box when that jam ends, you still got time to serve. You have to wait. You're in the next jam now.
That's right. Quad Squad just broke the century mark. And we have as we mentioned, we have a power start. That is Thrill Show out there, takes an early first jam, lead jammer status.
Smack and Cheese quickly back on the track. Looks like she only had seconds to serve on that penalty. But gets back on the track, immediately removes the star to create some confusion and an opportunity to pass. An out of play block assessed to Crystal Ice for the Quad Squad.
Thrill Show calling out the jam.
Oh, rough timing on some of those penalties at the end of that jam. 2 blockers going to the box for the Vaudeville Vixens. I'm sorry, is that 3? No, it's not. Okay, yes, it's only 2 in the box for the Vixens, but that also means there are only 2 blockers on the track to start this next jam.
Speaking of this next jam, we have Dark Horse and Karma Suture. I started talking before I knew who was out there.
That's all right. You don't need to think about what you're talking before you
Right.
say it. We're announcers. Dark Horse out to take lead for the Quad Squad. Karma Suture, though, not to be denied, is hot on her heels. Such stitching together a few points right at the end of the jam there. Will pick up 3. Actually sneaks them away from the Quad Squad. 0 points picked up there.
It's really good.
So Quad Squad has pushed out their lead a bit. However, it's still really close here. 18 points separate these teams. Gonna see what Quill can do here as she goes to the jammer line for the Quad Squad against Radio Smacktive for the Vixens.
And that is Quill DeMille.
Some nice blocking there by the Quad Squad, preventing the Vixens blockers from being able to get up and continue to play defense on Quill. We do see a few penalties going out there. 2 Quad Squad blockers to the box. So now only 2 blockers on the track for the quad squad, whereas the Vixens are at full strength. Radio Smacktive going to take full advantage of that, sliding through for 4 points.
That's right. 4 points answered by Quilladeville.
So now, like, skaters apparently got our note at the half where the penalty box was underutilized.
Yeah, we told them to get more penalties, and they listened.
Oh, nice footwork by Dio on the inside line. Sneaks through for 4 more points. And now the jam will be called. Wise move by Quill to keep the jam moving with enough time to free all of her blockers from the box before ending the jam.
Exactly, Rich.
Having that little bit of a lead, you can afford to blow some of that time. And in fact, the score didn't move differentially.
No, it's still an 18-point game.
Yep.
The Vaudeville Vixens have now crossed the arbitrary, because we use a base 10 numbering system, have crossed the century mark.
Yep. 3 digits on that score. Woo, big number. Getting back to the action on the track, it's going to be Thrill Show out to take lead jam for the quad squad in green. La March Madness out now, eligible to score points for the Vaudeville Vixens in the pink. Quick call off by Thrill Show. As La March Madness comes flying through turn 1 there. A rolling stop. Tuck and roll. Ninja stop.
Ninja dust.
Even if you threw rosin on the track and called it ninja dust, I don't think that the officials would appreciate.
I don't think they would,
No.
but they might secretly in their heart appreciate it, but they'll still call you on it. We have some mac and cheese out there as well as Dark Horse. We've seen this lineup before, but it is Dark Horse takes lead jammer status.
Vixen's able to take up position at the back, but juking back and forth, left and right. Dark Horse tears through the defense. Nice move, getting her hips in front of the opposition as the jam is called. Does secure all 4 points for the quad squad, bringing their point total to 123. Vaudeville Vixens at 100, just under 20 minutes remain to play.
That's right. It looks like for this next jam number 10, we have Quilladeville and Karma Suture lining up.
Both of these walls doing a really good job of conforming to the shape the jammer is presenting. And whenever the jammer is backing off, you see, especially like the Vixens are doing a great job of this, but backing up and taking that space back.
This is the first lead jam for the Vaudeville Vixens since the first jam of the period.
Wow. Vixens having stayed in despite not getting leads so much this second half.
We have a star pass. That is to Battle Frog.
That's right, and that donning of the star will force the call off from the Vixens. Do manage to put up 4 unanswered points. Penalty box does stand empty as we roll into jam number 12.
And Outreach is Madison and South Central Wisconsin's LGBTQ plus community center, providing support for over 50 years. Outreach has been on the forefront of social change and provides safe spaces and programs for the LGBTQ plus people of Madison and Dane County. Outreach Madison.
Getting back down to the action on the track, Thrill Show recycled to the back. Lead is still open here as Radio Smacktive is also recycled behind Gouda Riddance. Dio up at the front, only 2 blockers to beat. That's Gouda and Ham. That's like A delicious sandwich.
It's a delicious sandwich.
Dio takes a bite right through that wall, though. Will end up taking lead for the Vixens. Huh. Nice hit there by Hoppy Go Lucky, playing some offense, breaking up the Quad Squad's wall, enabling Radio Smack Tip to get through. Dio gonna call that jam. Quad Squad once again denied points for this jam. Gonna be 4-0. Vaudeville Vixens coming back in this game.
Closing that lead up, Rich. The after party is at the Delta Beer Lab. I'll see you all there. It's at 167 East Badger Road in Madison. Delta Beer Lab, go there and celebrate this fine Saturday evening with your favorite roller derby personnel.
Exactly. We would love to see you down there. Join us. We do have a quick official review being called for here. It looks like the Quad Squad using an official review. So we will send our intrepid producer, the Goram Reaver, into the fray to hide amongst the zebra to see what they can learn.
Hey, Rich,
Hey, Nate.
February 11th, where are you going to be?
Dude, I'm sorry, one more time.
February 11th, where are you going to be?
Oh, my guess is somewhere on the planet Earth.
Right here.
Right here.
Right here. We have another roller derby thing happening February 11th, right here. You will see the Quad Squad take on the Unholy Rollers, and the Reservoir Dolls take on the Vaudeville Vixens.
That's right. That will be the final game of our little abbreviated 2022-2023 home season. You know, I'm excited to be there. Are you excited to be there? Taking that as a yes.
Let's hear that again. Rich is excited to be here. Are y'all excited to be here?
Thank you. My ego is fragile. But that's right, we will be having one more doubleheader February 11th. Tonight, we sold out our tickets, friends. Thank you for your part in that, everyone. We love having you here. It's so good to be back here, Madison Roller Derby, playing the game, talking about it, seeing the fans. We get to do it one more time, February 11th.
February
We hope you join us
11th.
there. So for those of you hanging out on the stream, February 11th is your next chance. All right, so it looks like the Quad Squad were again looking for a track cut penalty on the Vaudeville Vixens jammer. On review, the officials found that the wheels were on the tape, not over the tape. So the no call stands. Quad Squad lose their review.
Always good to check if you think there might be.
Oh yeah, and scoring a jammer penalty like that can be big.
And that is Dark Horse takes lead jammer status for the Quad Squad. Still working your way through the pack is, I believe, Lamarch Madness.
Can confirm.
Star pass to Wolframmer.
That's right. Wolframmer will don the star, activating her jammer powers. We'll see if Dark Horse will let her get any of those tasty points with it. Dark Horse recycled to the back of the pack, trying to fight her way past Melee and Hello Sailor. Wolframmer recycled back by Conan the Librarian. Looked like she was going to break free, but Conan is like, no, you didn't stamp that. You can't leave yet. You need to stamp your jammer card before you can get out.
I'd like to remind you all to visit your local library, and that is Dark Horse taking lead jammer status.
A track cut penalty assessed to blocker for the Quad Squad, Battle Frog. Now only 2 blockers at the back of the pack for the quad squad, trying to hold back Wolframmer. Wolfie now up at the front. 1 to beat, does get through. 4 points picked up for the Vaudeville Vixens.
And big jam for the quad squad. That was 12 points scored. The Vaudeville Vixens had 4.
I'd like to give another quick shout out to Madison Roller Derby sponsor UW Health. UW Health is proud to be a part of the Madison Roller Derby's season. UW Health provides remarkable health care and is committed to serve through medical innovation and unparalleled compassion.
On the track, we have Smack and Cheese and Vaudeville. Smack and Cheese takes lead jammer status.
Smack and Cheese really throwing on the afterburners, trying to get back around to that pack as quick as possible. As Quill gets through, is now eligible to score points.
4 points for the Vixens, unanswered by the quad squad in that jam.
4 very filling points picked up by the Vaudeville Vixens. Points, unbeknownst, their points are mostly carbs.
Points are mostly carbs, but they're delicious.
They're so filling, so delicious. You feel like you could eat 1 million.
You could eat 1 million. All right, we have Kamasutra and Thrill Show lining up on the jammer line.
Both of these jammers, foster skaters on the teams they are representing this evening. Such normally skating for the Reservoir Dolls, and Thrill Show normally skating for the Unholy Rollers. And it's going to be Such through to take lead jam for the Vixens. Thrill Show working her way through the pack will end up getting by Melee. However, Such going to call off the jam. 3 points picked up by the Vixens. Quad squad held scoreless.
Dio's got a fan club out there.
Like I was saying, the louder you scream, the faster Dio will skate. It's in her contract.
It is in their contract. And that is Radio Smacktive out there with Dark Horse. Dark Horse takes lead jammer status.
I will note that some of the cheers for Dio died down just after the jam started, so...
It's their fault.
Where were we at, fans? I'm sorry, that was rude. Dark Horse through for 4 points. Dio going to get around future trauma, now eligible to score for the Vixens. Oh, Nate, the pack's picking up speed again. Conan the Librarian trying to take Hoppy Go Lucky out, but just bounces back. Hoppy's bouncy. So 6 points picked up for the quad squad in that jam.
Outreach is Madison and South Central Wisconsin's LGBTQ plus community center, providing support for over 50 years. Outreach has been on the forefront of social change and provides safe spaces and programs for the LGBTQ plus people of Madison and Dane County.
La March Madness through to take lead jam for the Vaudeville Vixens. Wastes no time coming back around into the pack. Will break through. That's 4 points up for the Vixens. Quilla DeVille still working on the initial pass. La March Madness getting jammed up in the turn 1-2 apex behind a tripod of green. Up at the front, Quill having trouble with a similar shape. Will manage to break through, though now only has 1 blocker to beat. Gets by Wolframmer. The March Madness taken to the outside, will be forced to call off the jam. Get another lineup here. 8 points picked up by the Vixens that last jam. So Vixens once again starting to close up that score gap. We've got 14 points separating these teams.
That's right, we have 10 minutes left.
Indeed. We do have a single blocker in the box for the Quad Squad. We'll see what Thrill Show and Smack and Cheese have for us.
Thrill Show cycles Smack and Cheese way back.
That's a nice job by Thrill Show there. Not only forcing the jammer to cycle back, but does buy enough time for her blocker to get out of the box before flying forward. Oh, and Smack and Cheese! You gave Smack and Cheese just enough time to brew that roux of speed. It's a good roux is key in a good Smack and Cheese.
Yes, it is indeed.
After a somewhat wild jam, as the dust settles, Quad Squad come out with 2 points, Vaudeville Vixens with 1. Score now stands Vaudeville Vixens 128, Quad Squad 143. 8 minutes and 30 seconds remain to play in this game. It's going to be Dark Horse up against Karma Sutra on the line.
Both skaters engaging their pack. And it is Dark Horse taking lead jammer status.
Oh, Such almost through on the outside, but takes a bit of a tumble, giving the Quad Squad blockers just enough time to get up front. And it's going to be a track cut penalty on Karma Suture. So this is a power jam for Dark Horse and the Quad Squad.
This is the Quad Squad's second power jam of the period, Rich.
Oh, well, they're definitely doing a good job at making good, fantastic use of these power jams they're getting. Dark Horse with 8 points so far, looking for 4 more. Vixen's doing a good job compensating for the Quad Squad's offensive maneuvers. Trying to split them up, but no, they're staying together, managing to hold Dark Horse back for quite some time. Such now back on the track for the Vaudeville Vixens, has passed the star over to Raven Lunatic. Of course, as soon as that star goes on, Dark Horse gonna say, no thank you. I'll take my 16 points, you can have your 0.
Star goes on, jam goes off. Big, huge, gigantic jam for the Quad Squad. That was 16 points right there.
It's jamgantic.
It was jam. It's jamtastic.
Jamnormous.
It's
Jams of unusual size.
JOUSs? I don't think they exist.
Getting back down to the action on the track. Radio Smacktive wearing the star for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink. Quilla DeVille out there for the Quad Squad in green.
Radio Spective cycled back by Good Riddance. And now cycled back by
Dio with the
bottom of the box.
Dio with the fast feet, running up the inside or the outside, then cutting to the in. Quad Squad defense doing a good job of waylaying her, but Radio Smacktive will not be denied. It's going to keep pushing on that wall. Now getting some help. That's Hawaii KO in there helping break up the line, but now she has to skate back to help her friends. But it's going to be Dio getting through to take lead jam for the Vaudeville Vixens.
We have a star pass. That is a star pass to Good Riddance.
Quillaville saying, Gouda riddance to that star. You have fun with it, Gouda.
Radio Smackdown calling it off. Scored 3 points. 3-point jam for the Vixens. It's a 1-point jam for the Quad Squad.
That's right. We are into the final minutes of this game, friends. 5 minutes remain on the clock. Quad Squad starting to pull ahead. 29 points separating these teams. Certainly not an insurmountable hill to climb, but it will be an uphill battle for the Vixens.
That's right, Rich. We have on the line, we have La March Madness skating in pink for the Vixens, and we have Thrill Show skating in green for the Quad Squad, and that is Thrill Show takes lead jammer status.
March Madness slicing through the pack, will get through, puts that star back on. Nice hit to the inside by one-hit Wanda on Thrill Show. Oh, looks like it's going to be a jammer penalty. Never mind, back on the track goes Thrill Show. So the penalty was actually called on one-hit Wanda. So there's a little bit of confusion there. Thrill Show thought, like, that's my penalty. No, Show, it's not. So back on the track is Thrill Show, picks up 4 points. In control of the jam, holding the lead jammer powers. Ooh! Beautiful cut to the inside by Thrill Show, only stopped at the last moment by Mustang with a hip check to the inside.
Sticking the star pass to Mustang.
Mustang fights her way past Slyanide, will get that star on. Thrill Show gonna call off the jam as she starts to exit the track. Will be a very close jam there, Nate. We got 8 points for the Quad Squad, 5 for the Vaudeville Vixens. I'd like to remind everybody that once this game is over, while the roller derby action may be ending, your roller derby evening does not need to end there. You can join us down at Belt Delta Beer Lab for the after party. We'll tell you more about that after this jam, where we have Smack and Cheese through to take lead for the Vixens. Dark Horse jamming for the Quad Squad. Coming up on like Smack and Cheese. Acting like a pinball in that hack, bounces off a few blockers, will call the jam, but not before picking up 4 points.
What an exciting sport.
That's right, Nate. These teams, the game is coming towards its end. Many of these skaters, this is their second game they've played today, but everyone fighting for each jam is a new jam.
Each jam is a new jam, Rich.
It's an opportunity to get points, and that's what we're all here for.
We're all here for the same reason. And that is to watch Quilla DeVille and Karma Suture skate for their respective teams, and everyone skate for their respective teams. Karma Suture taking lead jammer status.
Quad Squad going to lose Battle Frog to the box. Quill up at the front has just getting a big hug from all of those pink blockers. She will get through. Right behind Such. Picking up 4 points for the Vaudeville Vixens. Quill is eligible to score points, but Such going to call off that jam after picking up 4 points.
I want to say this, Rich. As a reminder, sometimes after these bouts, people will want to help pull up the tape.
Yes.
We're asking lesser spectators to not help pull up the tape tonight.
Yes, that is a very good point. This is very special tape and needs to be picked up in a very special way to avoid any damage. So please, we appreciate your instinct to help, but please don't go removing any tape unless you have been specifically asked to by Rat. Anyway, back to the action on the track. Radio smacked him, friends. Takes lead jam for the Vaudeville Vixens. Thrill Show wears the star for the Quad Squad. Fights her way past one-hit Wanda. Oh! Wanda
Cycle.
gets her on the inside just in the right at the nick of time. will force the recycle.
Four more points for Dio.
Dio gonna keep it rolling, hungry for points as she comes around turn 1.
Dio working her way through.
And Dio gets the call from the bench to call off the jam. 3 points on that last pass. Nice jam for the Vixens to end out this game. We are going to wait for the official final score. Things are close, but a few points here or there aren't going to change the result of this game, Nate. It's looking like the Quad Squad are going to skate away as your victors here. And there it is, your official final score. Vaudeville Vixens 155, and your victors, Quad Squad, with 172.
Give it up one more time for all the teams that skated tonight.
And let's give it up for the Vaudeville Vixens.
And give it up for your Quad Squad.
All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for coming out and joining us here at Kiva Sports Center, enjoying all this wonderful Madison Roller Derby action. As we were saying, you can join us at the after party at Delta Beer Lab at 167 East Badger Road in Madison. But if we don't see you there, we would, even if we do see you there, we would love to see you back here on February 11th.
February 11th, Rich.
That's right, as we close out Madison Roller Derby's 2022-2023 home season. Well, thank you for joining us here in the venue or at home. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. I've been Rich Mahogany.
And I've been Assassinate.
Thank you. Good night.